on women, youth, and persons with disabilities. I'm co-chairing with Chairperson Gillion. She is the chairperson of the Select Committee in the NCOP, the Select Committee on Social Services, Health and Social Services. The gentleman who's wearing a blue mask is Dr. Tambo, from our legal unit in Parliament. And all the people who are wearing blue, except the honorable member. Okay, the lady who's wearing the blue mask, the one next to the wall is Ms. Nelly Sonobatana, our committee secretary. And there's another one, Ms. Nonvula Jiba, who is the manager of committees in Parliament. And then Ms. Uzuki France is a coordinator for the Select Committee in the NCOP. I will now hand over to honorable members to introduce themselves. Over to you, Honorable Maluleka.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and good morning, good afternoon, Madam Pretorius. My name is Buitumelo Maluleke, member of this committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, Miss Pretorius. I'm Telly Somgweba, the member of this committee.
Thank you, Chairperson. Igama lami Sibongile Khawula. Sikwamukele Mhlonishwa Pretorius. Thanks.
Thanks, Chairperson. Is it still good morning?
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Pretorius. My name is Elegant Chabele. I sit in this subcommittee. Thanks.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Mbuglelo Baha. I'm a member of this subcommittee as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and good day, Ms. Pretorius. My name is Figile Masigo. I'm a member of this subcommittee.
I'm Ms. Pretorius. My name is Luol of PT, and I'm a member of this committee.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Ms. Pretorius, you've got 45 minutes with us. Members will ask questions, and members will also make follow-up questions, even if the member is not the one who asked that question. And feel free, relax. If you feel that your anxiety now is going higher and higher and higher, there's a bottle of water there. You can drink water just to cool down a little bit. And just feel free. Make yourself comfortable. Because this is the only opportunity where you can sell yourself. And good luck. Then I'll record. Okay. My first question is about yourself. Tell us about yourself and who are you? What are you doing? And why did you apply for this post? And why do you think you are as to be appointed to serve in the board? Over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, Honourable Chair and members. My name is Janneke Pretorius. I'm 29 years old. I am married and I have a little baby girl. Before I tell you more about myself, I would just like to say it's really nice to see so many females in front of me today. It really makes me feel comfortable. And I don't know if it's appropriate, but I would like to say Malibongwe. I'm from Port Elizabeth, Eastern Cape, born and bred. I obtained my B.Ed IP degree in the end of 2013 at NMU University in Port Elizabeth. I'm currently a teacher as well as head of Department of the Occupational Phase at Medieval School for Specialized Education. So the occupational phase is the last 3 years of a student's life for the big world. I have a very, very strong passion for people and children with disabilities. It's where my heart lies, and it's just my passion. Okay, I'm not a politician, so if you are looking for a politician here today, I'm in the wrong place. Politician. But
we're not looking for a politician.
Okay.
We're looking for South Africans who must serve in the board and deal with issues of young people.
Then it's good. Thomas Sankara once said that you cannot carry out fundamental change without a certain amount of madness. You have to turn your back on past formulas and you need to invent in the future. And that's exactly the position I am in. I want to implement all these wonderful policies and all these wonderful frameworks and legislative paperwork that's put in place. I want to be on the creative side. I want to implement my ideas I have to take youth development into a new era. I'm a very friendly and outgoing person. I forge good relationship with people in my work environment. I have a love for developing and helping others, and I've always centered myself in doing that. I have a love for the welfare and the well-being of youth people, and thus I've been doing some charity work in my spare time as well. As I've said before, that I have a love for people and children. I feel the NYDA is lacking in the helping of people with disabilities, as disabilities is not a blanket approach. There are different types of learning disabilities and disabilities, and we need to work together to try and find strategies to fight these challenges these people with disabilities are facing. It is not homogeneous. Disabilities are not homogeneous. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Honorable Chairperson.
Good morning, Mrs. Pretorius.
Chair, it's your turn to ask a question.
Can you hear me, Chairperson? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Pretorius, just a simple question from my side. If you will be considered to be a board member of the NYDA, what leadership qualities will you bring into this board of the NYDA? And can you reflect for us where you played a leadership role in a previous organization that you served on? And can you give us an example of that? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Over to you, Ms. Pretorius.
Okay. When I look at the word leadership, I think of you as must be a role model to other people. You need to guide them, be there for them, and help them to serve for the purpose that you are there. So, leadership positions I've been in I've been a head of department. So I run a whole department at my school. I need to to make sure that the people that work underneath me know what to do on a daily basis. I need to help them to research and find new innovations and new ways to teach different disabilities. As a disability, you need to stay on par with how you can teach them and learn them new ways. Yeah, and if I'm appointed on the board, I would go back the NYDA Act. It gives you rules and guidelines on how a person should be when you're on the board. So I will go back and reflect on what it says in the Act, as it's very important to always remember that there are rules and guidelines that you must follow, and you must always represent yourself in the best capable way. And as a teacher, I naturally believe in discipline, principles and structure, and I will always combat against ill discipline, corruption or mismanagement.
Yeah, I want to make a follow up on that one. Which section of the Act that empowers you to do all the things that you were talking about? On the Act of the NYDA. You spoke about discipline. I take it that obviously when the person talks about discipline, you would have read something from the Act that talks to that. That's why I'm asking which section of the Act that empowers you, and so that you can see which part, which section is guiding you on how must you deal with the things that you mentioned.
So the Act
Okay,
is
like another one, if you think along the, you see the good initiatives and creativity that you're talking about which section of the Act that empowers you to go and implement those things?
okay. I just want to understand if I understand the question correctly. Do you want me to give the ideas that I have, or
No,
give
the ideas that you have in the Act. There is somewhere in the Act, in the sections that are there in the Act, that empowers you or guide you on how then do you implement those ideas.
Okay, so implementation, you always go back on the integrated youth development, where in 1994, South Africa has undergone major restructuring to eliminate historical engineered inequalities, and global institutions made it their priority to come up with programs so to empower youth employment. So I would go back to how to implement it. Everything stands in the integrated youth strategy. So
no, it's fine. Let's get to go to another question. Yeah, Honorable Mtiti, Honorable Paula, sizomela interpretele umama ohleli lapha ngoba umkhawulo uzokhuluma ngesizwe, so you need to interpret for her. Mtiti, Honorable Paula, Tabele, Honorable Masiko, whoever.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Ms. Pretorius, for your insightful contributions. You spoke about your interests relating to persons living with disabilities. And so my question that I would like to ask you is, should you be appointed onto the NYDA board, what programs and campaigns will you articulate and lobby for on that board for people living with disabilities, persons living with disabilities?
Firstly, as I said, that disabilities is not a blanket approach. It is not homogeneous. So there's different types of levels of disabilities. It's not just people who's been in an accident and lost their legs. We actually have children in a classroom where the education system failed them. Just because they can't read or write on the correct level, after school, their parents' problem, they sit at home. So I would love to come up with a program where those children who have abilities, just because a person doesn't have disabilities doesn't mean they do not have abilities. So we sit with these children who have abilities, but just because the education system failed them and they don't have opportunities after school, that's where I really, really would love to incorporate with the youth development the NYDA to start programs to help them develop into the labor market. For instance, there's a boy in our school. Okay, he reads and he writes, but he doesn't read and write at the level of the school, the education system wants him to do. But you can give him a drill, and he can put up fixtures anywhere better than most men I know they can. And he has the ability to climb on a bus, go to a person's house and actually do the work. He has the ability to work with finance. He has the ability to run his own business. But just because he doesn't have the abilities that the education wants him to have, he's not able to go into the labor market where he has the ability. And that's where I would love to come in. I would love to work to develop and do persons to develop their skills. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Paula, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Yangizwa?
Yebo.
Ngibonge Chairperson. Ngiyayibonga i-presentation ikhombisa ukuthi nalo uzongalwenza la. La Miss Pretorius. Lana eSouth Africa sinentsha engango 20.4 million engasebenzi. Nesiqede 35 years. U7%, 70% wayo. Lokho okukhombisa ukuthi la eSouth Africa i-youth yakhona ayimelelekile, ngabe ifundile, ngabe ayifundanga ukubheka lento yamakhono. Ngifuna ukubuza-ke la, ngabe ukuthi nje sikhuluma nge-COVID-19 manje, enye into echathe ba njengoba kuyi-COVID-19 lana kuvele khona umyalezo abahambe bayobhalisa lo 350. Kuvelile ukuthi kusho ukuthi la eSouth Africa i-youth yakhona isafana nokuthi akekho ibhodi ekhathalela. Wena-ke mangase siqasha manje noma sikuthatha manje ungena kule bhodi yaka NYDA, yini ozoyenza ukuthi le youth yase South Africa ekhombisa unganakwa esize yathi shi kwidakamizwa eyasemakhaya esihlala emapulazini yahlukumezeka, yini ozoyenza ukuthi nayo iziboni ibalekile la eSouth Africa mhlambe igcina sikwazi ubatholela umhlaba ukuthi laba 350 ababanikwayo manje khuluma ukuthi ibhodi eyahamba iyohlala no-government ukuthi akathathe le mali le ukuthi abavulele amathuba omsebenzi, abanikeze amabhizinisi, abathengele ogandaganda, ama-truck, banikeze imali abo baphathe eSouth Africa. Sinabo nathi sipho khona inyini wakulisa abasebenzi.
Thank you for your presentation. It shows that you are prepared. Statistics in South Africa shows that the unemployment rate of our youth is 20.4 million. And people who are above 35, and I'm talking about the group that is falling out of the youth age bracket, is 70%. So, to me, it is clear that our youth is not well taken care of, educated and non-educated members. And it also shows that we don't have dedicated board members who have their best interest at heart. You, as somebody who has come forward and has shown interest in this position, what are you intending to do differently? How are you going to turn things around? My wish is to see our youth become employers. My wish is to see our youth become landowners. I want to see them being involved in farming projects as landowners. So how are you going to go about making sure that that becomes a reality?
Akhulume no government ukuthi labo 350 banikezwe bathengelwe abantu into zogandaganda.
And I would also like to see government taking the 350 rands that has been promised to our youth. I would like to see him take this amount and buy them the land and tractors so that they become equipped farmers.
No, they can't buy land. Land is our land.
All right.
Must buy a truck.
We are not going to buy the land. The land is ours. It belongs to us.
They must buy truck and tractor and truck.
We just want the government to take the 350 rands, and instead of giving it to our youth, he must take the money and buy them trucks and tractors so that they are better equipped to carry out duties of farmers. I also want to see our youth getting involved in the mining sector.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Honourable Member, for that very well formulated question as it speaks to my heart as well. Firstly, we need, if I'm appointed on the board, the first thing I would say is we really need to work on the marketing of the NYDA, as I've done research in my area and so many young people are not aware of this board. So that's the first thing we really need to look at. And there's a few ideas that I have that we need to stay with the changes. So they talked about an app in 2017, but I've looked up and I haven't seen the app. I don't know, my phone doesn't have it. We need to stay with things like that. So we need to look at the app to promote the NYDA first. So who wants to be more in South Africa, who wants to be employed, know about this. They need to know about the NYDA. They need to know that the NYDA wants to help them. So I would look at that, as well as small adverts on YouTube. that's what the young people do. They go on YouTube and they want to see. So I would do small things like that, or a magazine where they can read up about the NYDA, where the people who has been previously funded by the NYDA share their stories, so that people know that the NYDA is actually doing the work. Okay, so now getting to the question is, I fully agree with the honourable member about land, and I think that one thing that we need to look in, if I'm appointed on the NYDA board, is hemp industry. That we give ground. We first we have to develop and train the young people to know how to work on the land. So there, I would say it's an excellent idea. We need to get into agriculture and give them the abilities and teach them and motivate them. Then another thing that I feel very strongly about is that we need to empower women. So I have this idea in my head. It's called the FAST Training Program, and it stands for Females Are Stronger Together. And who limits a woman telling her that she can't be a boss of the mines? We need to work with these women, develop them, give them the skills, and push them into male-dominant industries. Because we as women also have those skills. There are people out there, youth, that have the ability. We just need to work with them. We need to train them. We need to motivate them into this sector. So the FAST training program is something that I think that we really need to look in, is to empower the women of South Africa. As well as, I feel that the NYDA approaches the youth too late. To only approach them after 18 years it's too late. You need to start them young. You need to start them as they go into high school. They need to know what the NYDA is. They have to know funds out there, so that they can go into know which direction their life is going into. So there's another approach. It's just ideas that I'm thinking about, is the 5 golden rules of a young person's life. So start them young. Work with the education department, subject that they incorporate in school level. All about the NYDA, all about how you can run a business, how you can theoretical and practical activities into the subject, so that we can start them young, teach them from a young age to look to the future. At a young age, as the honourable board member said about agriculture, teach them about it. At my school, agriculture is actually one of the subjects that the boys do. We have a little garden. We teach them to work with ground. So that's actually an excellent idea for people with disabilities, because they're able to do it. They're able to get a ground. We as NYDA just need to put all the wonderful documents there is into practical solutions for these people, for these youth. So yeah, that's something I really feel strong about, is we need to empower women. We need to start them young. At 18 years old, it's too late. We need to start them young. And in the end of this, when they matric, they can get a certificate. So this certificate they can take to the NYDA office, and this can make the whole process so much quicker. Yeah. I hope I've answered your question, Honourable Board Member.
Follow up. Yabona le ma-community meeting e-NYDA ngagcina nini?
Sorry?
Sorry. Hayi. Ngimzwile.
Mzila Makhulu.
Ngimzwile.
Okay.
But kodwa engifuna kulungiswe correctwe yiloko ukuthi bafundiswe ngokulima because vese kakade bekade kulinywa phela kushoda imali efuneka inikezwe youth. Ngiyabonga sihlalo.
Farming has always been our legacy. It's something that we were born into. What we need is money, and we need nurturing skills. We need nurturing skills programs for farming, for the youth, from all spheres of life, especially in the rural areas. We need money, lots of money.
Yes, thank you, Honourable Member. And I agree with that. We need money, and through that, I would lobby to sectors and ask them to help and give money as well. But I feel that we need to speak to the Minister of Finance, as I feel that youth development is one of the biggest challenges South Africa face. So I feel that we need to lobby with him and see if he can't, from his side, give us more funds, because I mean, youth and development is really the most important challenge in South Africa now. So I would also speak to him and see if there isn't somewhere that he can give us more from another department, maybe that he knows he can get funds from. But I feel that we must also lobby to private sectors and ask them to help us as well. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Ms. Pretorius, history has taught us that people with disabilities always get excluded economically. Then if you can be appointed to the NYDA, how are you going to achieve the National Development Plan that speaks to issues of people with disabilities and also SONA priorities? I'm talking about SONA 2020, towards achieving gender equality or gender mainstreaming, making sure that young women and young person with disabilities benefit to the NYDA in terms of training, mentorship services, and business opportunities. How are you gonna assist? You know, now that history has taught us that they've always excluded, and in fact, in all departments and in all levels. And if you could look at the percentage, it's always below 2%. How, if you can be appointed, now that your experience in terms of person with disabilities from from the education part of it, how are you going to help the NYDA then to make sure that at least the percentage increases from time to time?
Thank you, committee member. Okay, so the National Development Plan it's a very important document, and it's the cornerstone of South Africa's future. It's an action plan put together to and this action plan is actually put together to eliminate inequalities and reduce poverty. So this plan is really, really, really important to look at South Africa's future, as well as the people with disabilities and women as well. So once again, I will look at creative ideas to be implemented, as well as you said for women. Again, I will bring in the FAST program, Females Are Stronger Together, to make a program where we work and train these women and give them the necessary skills they have to go into industrials. It's very important to look. The NDP has objectives and directives they want to achieve by 2030, and through these goals they have, they will eliminate inequalities, as well as they will reduce poverty. And I know if by 2020 the goals they have is not being reached, then well, if by 2020 they haven't given people the same amount of opportunities, job opportunities, well, then the objectives won't be reached. So, and I believe as the population grows, as population grows, the levels of young people gets higher and higher, and we need to find together plans on how we're going to help them to be ready for the. Can you quickly just please say the question again?
No. The question is very simple, Ms. Pretorius, is that if you can be recommended or appointed to the NYDA, how are you gonna assist people with disabilities in terms of job opportunities, training services, as well as mentorship services, now that in all levels and all departments, the percentage of person with disabilities is always less than 2%. Remember, there are also South Africans, there are citizens, but they've got disabilities. But how are you going to help the NYDA to achieve that, so that they also benefit to the NYDA?
Firstly, I would lobby to businesses as well as departments to start employing youth into their departments. So I would use the integrated youth development strategy as a lobbying tool to go to businesses as well as to the different sectors, departments, to start employing youth into their workspace, as well as I would I will make a meeting to talk to people about junior level posts. So that would be for people who maybe haven't finished the they haven't read to go and a junior level job, so that they get work through that, as well as yeah.
That was the last question. Sorry.
There will need to be an acknowledgement that the NYDA Act is too broad in nature, and that for it to exist as a coordinating agency, policy making agency, and implementing agency, we need to tweak it here and there. It's been in existence for more than 10 years. What I wanted to check with you NYDA Act needs to be reviewed. The NYDA Act has been in existence, as I said, for the past 10 years. A process has already been started to implement the Act. What would you input to the NYDA Act be such that it can be more effective for youth development? What would be your contribution towards that?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I would say that where I would amend the Act is I would move it from a Section 75 to Section 76, and that will make provision for us to have provincial boards, not only one NYDA board, but provincial boards, so that we can reach people that's always left out, rural areas that's never been reached, to do more groundwork. So that's where I would amend the NYDA Act, is to make provision for provincial boards so that we can reach more people on the ground, and it's more geographical. And then also, as all of you know, is I feel that the NYDA is not doing enough for people with disabilities. And I know that it is mentioned in the NYDA Act that they want to look after people with disabilities. So, but I would add a chapter there to make sure that makes provision for the different levels of disabilities, because there are so many different levels. It's not just people who was an accident and lost a leg. There are really so many different levels of disability. So I would just want to add a chapter there for people with disabilities to do more for them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Pretorius, for honoring our invitation. Do you have anything to say to us?
I would just like to thank everyone for your time and for all your efforts so far. I would just like to know, by going through the guidelines and choosing candidates, is it well geographically spread throughout throughout South Africa? Is it all 9 provinces being included?
Yeah. Can Honorable Masiko respond to that?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Yes, Victoria's all the 9 provinces are that is amongst the other criteria that we had considered when we were looking at the shortlisting criteria, though it's not the only criteria that we can consider.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Pretorius. Ms. Honorable Masigo has already answered you appropriately, but the last thing is that we will be finalizing our interviews on Friday. We'll be finalizing our interviews on Friday and deliberating our report next week, present it to Parliament and NCOP. And thereafter, we'll send the report, the Speaker will send the report to the President. So the President is the one that appoints people to serve in the board for NYDA. It's only at that stage whereby people will know, candidates will know that they've been successfully appointed by the President. It's not us at that stage. But thank you very much for your time. Fly safe. Yeah, thank you. Ngombuzi, she said she asked me. She did. Yeah. How is it? How it's called? Oh, goodbye. More than yeah, Mama.